This week, we sit down with the new leader of the Liberty baseball program, first-year head coach Scott Jackson.
All right, Coach, well, thanks for stopping by. We appreciate you making time for us. First question I got for you, who was your baseball idol growing up? Who was your guy? Who was your favorite player?
Yeah, that's an easy one, Cal Ripken Jr.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm a diehard Orioles fan.
Really?
Always have been. And I've got a twin brother, so it was Cal Ripken and Eddie Murray. Those were the two guys, and obviously Cal stayed with the Orioles longer than Eddie did, so yeah, Cal Ripken, no-brainer.
So when you compare your personality to Earl Weaver? Then,
No.
Yeah. Okay, all right, just want to check.
No.
That's good to know.
Don't go there.
Yeah, umpires appreciate that as well. What do you see your team's identity as being? What do you want that to be?
I want our team's identity to be built around the pitching and the defense, and let that be a staple of our program, and then have athletic position players that give us opportunities to score without being able to have to string a lot of hits together. Yeah. So I want high on-base percentage guys that have some plate discipline, that know the zone, that'll walk hopefully more than they strike out, guys that can run so that we can steal a little bit and score from first on a double, and just give us chances to beat a team 2-1 instead of trying to outslug them.
You've been in the game for a while now at a high level. Who's the best player you've ever coached? Or maybe if you can't narrow it down to one, who's a couple of the best players that you feel like you've ever coached?
The best player I've ever coached. Wow.
Because you've got a list. You've got a list you can choose from.
I think just from a pure ability standpoint, you'd have to put Colin Moran and Dustin Ackley in there at North Carolina. The hardest worker and the coach's guy that was just the most blue collar was Kyle Seager, who's with the Mariners now. Yeah. Just pure talent, Alex White, Matt Harvey. Some of those guys I just feel very fortunate to have sat back and said, man, that I get to be in the same dugout with these guys and watch them, on a daily basis.
How much credibility does that give you, talking not only when you're taking over a program like this, you can say, hey, look at all these guys I've been around, but then when you hit the recruiting trail as well, when you start naming off all these guys, I'm sure kids' eyes just light up.
Yeah, I don't really talk about those guys a lot unless I think there's a connection there.
Yeah.
So we've had some recruits from the West Coast, Seattle area, and you're like, hey, Ackley and Seager, and they're like, oh yeah, you coach them. So you kind of get a connection there, but I think all it does is it helps you from the standpoint of, okay, I know what it looks like. I know what it looks like to have a group of guys that have the potential to play in the big leagues, and they have that kind of talent, and then you start to mix it all together, and there's one common thing that rises to the top, and that's obviously the talent, but then the way they worked and the character of those kids was just incredible. And so not to mention the competitiveness, because, God, all of them were competitive.
How are players different today than maybe when you were playing? Are they different? Is there a difference, whether it's in the way they interact or the way you interact with them or the mindset? How's it different?
Yeah, great question. I don't think they're that much different once they get here. I think it's on the way to college with a lot of the social media and a lot of the things you're seeing with the self-gratification now that really takes the spotlight away from their team and maybe puts it on them more so than it was when I was coming through. So I think that's the one thing that I see. I think you just have to get in these kids' world. You can sit here and you can say they're different than they were when we were growing up, but at the end of the day, man, you have no choice. You better get in their world and have some fun with them and have relationships with them and love them and meet them where they're at, or you can create a barrier that I think will frustrate you.
In baseball, I think more so than any other sport in recent years, the numbers have become a big part of the game, right? The sabermetrics, the analytics, all of that. Where do you come down on that? Because there's the mindset, I don't buy into any of it, strictly old school. There's the other extreme. Where do you come down on that subject?
I think it can really help you from a run-scoring standpoint of trying to understand what sabermetrics are and not just say, I'm old school, I'm not going to look into any of that. Yeah. They say hitting your best hitter in the 2-hole, the 1, 2, and 4 holes are the ones that, you want to have your best run producers in. And then it's the 5-hole, and then it's the 3-hole. So when you look at it from that perspective, that's against the conventional best hitter in the 3-hole, and go from there. So we looked a lot at that last year at North Carolina and just messed with different lineups. And, I think it's something that's got a lot of value. I think a lot of the shifts and a lot of the tendencies that you're seeing now with a lot of these big league teams that are tracked through tons of data, that has a lot of value. Now, where that meets the college game, we don't have the data and the sample size that they do all the way through the minor leagues and then into the big leagues. I think you have to really go at that with a little bit of caution, but at the same time, there's a lot of value and there's a lot of merit in some of the stuff that's out there.
On the same topic, and we'll get you on this, the sacrifice bunt. Where do you come down on the sac bunt? Because that's another kind of hot topic, especially in the sabermetrics community.
Yeah, I'll say this. You better be careful giving away one of those 27 outs. And if it's calculated and you feel like you're giving away an out for a situation that will allow you to use your best offensive situation, your best hitters at the plate, some people will bunt a runner up, and here comes your best hitter, and first base is open now with one out. So you invite the opportunity to not even pitch to your best hitter. So I think it's very calculated and careful and a very, very cautious approach with that, because giving away an out is a tough thing.
Man, we're going to get along great. Thanks for the time. Looking forward to this year and seeing what you're able to do here at Liberty.
Awesome, man.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
a lot.
All right, appreciate it.